In today's news, Reentry Protocols to be rolled out by government tonight, as well as Honorable Natalio Wheatley joining us live today.
The Bougainvillea Clinic marks historic cardiac cath lab second anniversary with over 100 cardiac procedures and no New Year's celebrations at Foxy's, says government. All this and more when 284 News returns.
How does financial services benefit the BVI? It's been around for more than 3 decades before the World Wide Web and is now part of the everyday life of our islands. More than 2,200 people are directly employed in financial services and another 3,000 jobs are supported indirectly. Jobs are corporate service providers, lawyers, insolvency, accounting, banking, insurance, regulators. That's almost 27% of the national workforce. Of those, more than 65% are BVI landers and belongers. What about restaurants, supermarkets, or shops? Well, 100% of people eat. So, they buy food. They buy swimsuits and shampoo and cars and power tools and plantains and fish and roti and pates. Financial services employees buy painkillers and lots of beer. Then there's electricity and dental floss and toilet paper and pretty much everything else. And everyone needs a roof over their heads and a place to do business, so we all rent or buy from a local landlord. Housing and office space alone means millions of dollars into the pockets of BVI families. At the end of the day, everyone benefits, including charities who receive thousands of dollars every year. And more than 60% of all government revenues come from fees paid by financial services. This money is spent on schools, roads, ports, scholarships, the environment, health, sports, children, youths, and the elderly. Financial services contributes more than $290 million to the BVI economy. That's more than 30% of all economic activity is driven by financial services. This creates thousands of jobs all across the islands, meaning more people have a way to earn a living. What does financial services do for the BVI? Let's just say, it keeps our lights on. Financial services is everybody's business. So, come on, mind your business and let's not keep this to ourselves.
Welcome everybody. It's Monday, October 26, 2020. We are coming to you live and direct from our home, our paradise, Tortola, in the British Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant.
And my name is Javon Wilson, back from a very, very long weekend, but so thrilled to bring you your local, regional, as well as your international news. Now, based on a government release just yesterday, Ron, actually from the Premier of the Virgin Islands, we are learning that all cases of COVID-19, all confirmed cases, that is, have recovered once again. Honorable Foy said via his post, and I quote, "No active confirmed COVID-19 cases in the BVI as of the 25th of October 2020. Thank God for this good news. We commend the efforts of everyone, especially our HEOC and the health team in the fight against COVID-19. So once again, Ron, we see the territory seeing a full recovery of all cases, which I think is a pretty good indication that not only is our health system working as it should, but we do see our health authorities doing all that they can to ensure a speedy recovery of all cases.
I agree.
Definitely. And as well this week, I should say later on this week, maybe in a few days, CCT Live is about to change, I think, the media landscape in the BVI once again. Viewers, soon enough, we will be bringing you the full details. Live TV right in the palm of your hands, of course, on your smartphones. And Ron, the team here at CCT and 284 Media, of course, had the opportunity to be privy to some of the features. We do know it's super dynamic, very user-friendly, very interactive, but really lifting the standard of media. And I think that's the onus we have here at 284 Media to continue to live that standard. I'm so happy we'll be sharing that with the CCT family.
I could not agree with you more. That is what we aim to do on a regular basis. So we invite our viewers as we get ready to launch this new programming.
Absolutely. We'll head straight into our newscast for today. Now, as the proposed December 1st re-entry date quickly approaches, many persons within the BVI and abroad are now anxious in the absence of the highly requested re-entry protocols, which were scheduled to be rolled out by the government of the Virgin Islands. Now, the proposed December 1st reopening date, the BVI borders would have, by the proposed December 1st reopening date, the BVI borders would have been closed for approximately 8 months and 1 week. During that time, many businesses struggled to keep doors open due to the interconnectivity of the hospitality and business industries, which were severely impacted by the pandemic. Now, while government's economic stimulus plan sought to provide aid, the assistance could not, unfortunately, redeem the true magnitude of the losses endured by many businesses. Many of those businesses approved for the grant are still yet to receive cash under the Social Security Board system. Now, hospitality-related businesses in particular have taken a major hit, with many calling for a speedy reopening of the borders. One premier hotelier in particular said that they have seen a cancellation of at least $50,000 in bookings due to their guests not being able to confirm reopening protocols. Now, on September 21st, 2020, the government, in collaboration with the BVI Tourist Board, under a newly rebranded tourism tagline, BVI Love, announced that the borders will reopen for tourists on December 1st, 2020. However, on that day, no protocols were laid out. Now, on October 6th, during a meeting with the large hotels, private islands, and resorts, the premier had announced that visitors will need to quarantine for 4 days and to be tested prior to traveling upon arrival, and once again at the end of the quarantine period to be deemed COVID-free. He further stated that the incoming tourists will be required to download a government-curated app in accordance with the IATA standards to submit their negative test results and other pertinent information before any local bookings can be made. Premier Foy also proposed that all tourists will be mandated to wear a wristlet that will alert local health authorities about their whereabouts and ensure that guests abide by quarantine rules. All these protocols, viewers, are still subject to the approval of Cabinet. Now, on October 9th, during an exclusive interview right here on 284 Media, the Premier revealed that these measures are being, while they're being proposed, he was still willing at that point to revise the protocols to ensure that in the best interest, Ron, for every person involved. He said that the confirmation of these protocols would come by the following week, which ended October 16th. That did not materialize, unfortunately. Now, during a ZBVI radio interview on October 15th, Premier Foy said, and I quote, "For sure, no later than the following Thursday," end of quote, and that would have been October 22nd. Again, once again, the public was further notified on October 22nd that protocols will be announced officially today, October 26th. Now, when contacted by our newsroom today, Honorable Foy said that the government will update the public on protocols live tonight at 8 p.m. sharp. And despite heavy criticisms on the proposed 4-day quarantine, the Premier has said that he will not be pressured into changing it. He said recently at a public meeting, and I quote, "We try to put the measures in place to allow for less days, but whether persons want to hear it or not, the more days you reduce, the more percentage you have of a higher probability of persons landing and leaving positive. That's nothing that I'm making up, and that is a reality." He further said, "So now we have to decide what is the greater risk that we can take and manage that, given us the least amount or none. And if it is so, how do we get it in a controlled area until the incubation period of the virus has passed, and we can test and make sure your staff is safe, your children, as well as your employee, and the whole territory is safe." And that's what the Premier said during the recent public meeting over in Yas Van Dyke. Now, the Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, also supported the notion, adding that it is the best decision for the territory considering the health-related concerns. Ron, definitely an update that we're waiting for as it relates to government, very highly anticipated, especially from the hospitality industry as they try to secure themselves, but really prepare for the grand reopening on December 1st. We have heard over the last few weeks that the update is coming. Clearly, that has been postponed, but the Premier and the government of the Virgin Islands have been working feverishly in collaboration with the health authorities to ensure that whatever decision is made and ruled out tonight, even though it may not be in the public's in the public's opinion, might not be the best decision, right? We want to ensure that it is the safe and right decision for the territory as a whole. So definitely looking forward to that. It will be aired 8 p.m. live based on the Premier's word today. And of course, we'll be bringing you those updates.
Wonderful. Now, continuing on the local scene in what can only be described as further growth and progress of healthcare services in the British Virgin Islands, the Bougainvillea Clinic celebrated the 2nd anniversary of the Dr. Kendall Griffith Cardiac Catheterization catheterization laboratory, the first of its kind in the territory of the Virgin Islands, with over 100 cardiac services taking place thus far at the cath lab. Now, we were present at the very auspicious occasion at the Bougainvillea Clinic this Saturday and caught up with a medical director of the Bougainvillea Clinic, Dr. Heskett Vantable. Take a look.
2 years ago, we inaugurated a cardiac cath lab to examine the arteries of the heart at Bougainvillea Clinic. We named it the Dr. Kendall Griffith Cardiac Cath Lab because he was the one initially instrumental in helping us to build this service. 2 years ago, on the 26th of October, Dr. Mahendra Karpan came over from Guyana, where he has been doing some wonderful work with the hearts down in Guyana. And we did our first ever coronary angiogram. That is where we put a catheter into the heart of the patient, and we were able to show the blood vessels in the heart and determine whether they are normal or whether they are semi-blocked or completely blocked. That was the first one done on the 26th of October 2018. Well, the reason I asked to bring this information to you now is that yesterday we did our 100th procedure, in fact the 100th patient in the cardiac cath lab. Several of the patients over the time have had more than one procedure. Sometimes if we find that one of the coronary arteries is occluded or stenosed or blocked, we are able to open it up. So we do a second procedure now, which is treatment of the blocked artery, called a coronary angioplasty, and we implant stents. Sometimes we implant 1 stent, 2 stents, 3 stents, up to 5 stents at a time, but we have generally implanted 2 or maybe 3 stents in our patients. Of the 100 patients that we have examined there, just around 25 of these patients had severely blocked arteries that we had to stent. And there was an additional 5 patients that we had to refer to overseas for surgery because stents don't cure everything and it might not be the best option. So where there are multiple blockages, especially in diabetics, we sometimes have to refer people overseas for surgery, what we call coronary artery bypass surgery. Or we may have to, because we stent low to medium risk patients, sometimes the patient's findings may put them in the high risk category. So we would prefer to send them to a center that can deal with a high risk stenting.
Additionally, viewers, Dr. Heskett Vantable also spoke to some of the many challenges that came about as a result of COVID in offering these services to Virgin Islanders and residents. Take a look.
The cath lab was inaugurated almost exactly 2 years ago. And Dr. Karpan has been coming regularly on a monthly basis. And on a typical month, we may do 6 to 8 patients with different procedures. And but his last time he came was in February, and between February, because of the pandemic, things just ground to a halt. And in the meanwhile, patients continued to have their symptoms and needed the care. So we had to, over this period of time, use the non-interventional procedures, medication, etc., keeping the patients going until we were finally able to get him here. It has been quite a bit of a challenge to bring him here. Initially, he simply jumped on Liat, and it took 6 hours to get here, roughly 6 hours, 6 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock. Yeah, 6 or 7 hours to get here. Now it's been a major, major challenge. So we literally had to charter planes to bring him from Guyana here because the commercial flights are not functioning efficiently. Just as an indication, chartering to bring him here and take him back to Guyana in this period of time is going to cost us over $22,000 just for the transportation alone. So it has been a challenge. But we got him here, and I tell you, the work that was done in the last few days has been fantastic and well worth the effort. And I be just very thankful that Dr. Captain's wife and family have allowed him to come.
Viewers, the cardiac cath lab has been deemed a gift of excellence to the Caribbean region, and for that we take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Hesketh Vantabul and his remarkable team of professionals at the Bougainvillea Clinic. Jovan, one of the things that I'm so pleased about is this cardiac cath lab within the 2 years of existence has not only been able to benefit Virgin Islanders and residents, but persons across the Caribbean region, and I think for that we should be immensely proud of that here in the Virgin Islands.
Absolutely, Ron. We have talks about medical tourism all the time, and many residents are of the opinion that we are far stretched from it. But I think these types
Shining
of efforts
example.
Absolutely serves as the foundation of another industry that the BVI can begin to explore. And I just think what Dr. Hesketh, and by default the entire Bougainvillea family, what they're doing is just amazing, and we want to congratulate them and continue to wish them all the best.
Wonderful. Now, viewers, still ahead, we are joined by Education Minister, a 7th District Representative, and the Deputy Premier of the Virgin Islands, Dr. the Honorable Natalio Wheatley, as he discusses the unemployment program in District 7 and no New Year's celebration at Foxy's, says the government. All this and more when 284 News returns.
How does financial services benefit the BVI? It's been around for more than 3 decades before the World Wide Web and is now part of the everyday life of our islands. More than 2,200 people are directly employed in financial services, and another 3,000 jobs are supported indirectly. Jobs are corporate service providers, lawyers, insolvency, accounting, banking, insurance, regulators. That's almost 27% of the national workforce. Of those, more than 65% are BVI landers and belongers. What about restaurants, supermarkets, or shops? Well, 100% of people eat. So, they buy food. They buy swimsuits and shampoo and cars and power tools and plantains and fish and roti and pates. Financial services employees buy painkillers and lots of beer. Then there's electricity and dental floss and toilet paper and pretty much everything else. And everyone needs a roof over their heads and a place to do business, so we all rent or buy from a local landlord. Housing and office space alone means millions of dollars into the pockets of BVI families. At the end of the day, everyone benefits, including charities who receive thousands of dollars every year. And more than 60% of all government revenues come from fees paid by financial services. This money is spent on schools, roads, ports, scholarships, the environment, health, sports, children, youths, and the elderly. Financial services contributes more than $290 million to the BVI economy. That's more than 30% of all economic activity is driven by financial services. This creates thousands of jobs all across the islands, meaning more people have a way to earn a living. What does financial services do for the BVI? Let's just say it keeps our lights on. Financial services is everybody's business. So, come on, mind your business and let's not keep this to ourselves.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, the rated unemployment program has seen its official launch today. And to speak with us is the District 7 representative, as well as our Deputy Premier of the Virgin Islands and Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth Affairs, Fisheries, and Agriculture, Honorable Natalio Wheatley. Welcome to 284 Media.
Thank you, Javon. Thank you, Ron, for having me here at 284 Media. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Now, the rated unemployment program, before we head into what it actually offers, let's just speak about the acronym RATED and what it means, as well as what would have inspired you to get into this program.
Well, RATED is an acronym which stands for registration. The A stands for apprenticeship. The T stands for training. The E stands for employment. And the D stands for development. And as for what inspired me, my district, the 7th district, the district that I'm blessed to represent, has an unemployment problem. Of course, we have this problem throughout the territory. We have many opportunities being created here in the Virgin Islands, but there's a segment of our population who who has not been able to capitalize on the many opportunities produced here in the Virgin Islands. And many of them reside in our districts. They're unemployed. They have difficulty being able to provide for themselves, for their families, and of course they rely on sometimes government contracts like gut cleaning, bush cutting, things like that, but that can never sustain them throughout the entire year. So it's necessary to have programs targeted to this particular group to help them gain skills, to help them form relationships with employers, and to help them to discover their career path in life.
Nice. So this seems to be a program that will seemingly match the unemployed to possible employment opportunities in the community?
Yes, we'll be matching them, but not just that. We want to make sure that the T and the A, the apprenticeship and the training, we're going to target some of these persons for courses. I've already spoken to the H. Lavity Stout Community College about developing programs specifically for this group of individuals to help upgrade their skills. Quite a number of these persons would not have finished secondary school. Of course, the education system didn't fully cater to their needs. So we want to be able to target them, whether it's through certificate programs, whether it's through on-the-job training, through apprenticeships. And we do have a number of contractors in the 7th District who have indicated a willingness to take on some young persons, persons who show the right character, the right zeal. And our districts have a big problem as it pertains to this, and we needed a program targeted in the districts to help to solve this challenge.
Excellent. So today was the grand kickoff. I do know that some persons actually began working today. So speak to us about that and how long that is intended to run for.
Well, as a part of the program, the kickoff of the program, what we have done is provided opportunities for young persons to do some work in the district itself. We have some road cleaning work, some different types of work taking place, helping to beautify the district. And the hope is that the persons who engage in this project, that they'll show some promise, and we can actually recommend them to some of the contractors in the district. We have a number of contracts coming up in the district for, let's say, for the sewage work, different road works in the district. There's going to be a lot of work coming up in the district very soon, and we're hopeful that some of these persons, through this work program that they're conducting right now, would demonstrate a certain level of zeal, certain level of competence, a certain level of willingness to learn, that some contractors can take them on and they can get more permanent employment.
You did mention in the beginning of our interview that unemployment is, a big issue in the 7th District. Actually, it's one of the things you campaigned on prior to coming into office, being able to provide opportunities for unemployed persons. What do you think has contributed to that as it relates to the circumstances in the 7th District? But why has that been a consistent issue over the years as it relates to unemployment, specifically in the 7th District?
Yes, well, it's an issue. I don't want persons to be mistaken. It's an issue all over the territory. But the 7th District it's a big population of individuals, probably one of the biggest and most densely populated districts in the BVI. There's a mixture of persons from many different countries, many different places in the world, as well as persons from right here in the BVI. And somehow or the other, there has developed over some years, I would say, some challenges when it comes to performance in the education system. And of course, making sure that you have good role models in the community as well to be able to aspire to. All of those things are factors. But I would say primarily the 7th District has a challenge because it's one of the most populated districts as well. And of course, in the communities, we have to have more programs that target and empower persons in these particular communities because, of course, having good examples as well is a big part of inspiring persons to certain aspirations.
Absolutely. How can persons register with the program?
Well, the website is jobs, Jobs, dot BVI District 7, and that's the number 7.org. Or they can go to my office, which is in Fat Hogs Bay in the former Elite Building, and the person working in the office will help them to register. The register is a big part of the program because we want to have a permanent database, a searchable database, so that we can, when persons upload their resume, upload their experience, we can actually do searches to target persons for specific job opportunities. Employers also can register on the website and advertise job vacancies and hopefully get persons to sign up. So it's a placement program as well, and we're looking forward to everyone who's a resident in the 7th District to be able to get involved.
Minister Wheatley, thank you so much for making time to speak with us on the rated unemployment program.
Thank you to 284 Media.
Now, viewers, continuing on the local scene, at a recent community meeting held on Jos Van Dyke Tortola BVI, when asked about whether or not residents and businesses will be able to host and celebrate the annual All Year's Eve party, Leader of Government, Business and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy, when pressed on a response, said that it will be more than likely a no, while also getting a cue from the Minister of Health, the Honorable Carvin Malone, confirming that based on guidance from health officials, the highly anticipated Foxy's event will not take place. Now, our newsroom was present and caught up with owner Mrs. Tessa Callwood, who had this to say on the recent announcement.
Well, disappointed because it's been an unbroken history pretty much for the 50 years that we've been in existence. But I think it's necessary if Times Square is cancelled and Rio de Janeiro, I think, is cancelling their carnival. I'm not sure about Trinidad. I think maybe they also. But if those even more gigantic events are cancelling, I mean, what can we expect here? I don't think we could expect anything different, and disappointing as it is, I think it's necessary, and we're happy that the word has come from government because many people have been asking us and we don't want to be the ones that say we're cancelling, so better that it's them than us because it's official.
That was the lovely Miss Tessa Callwood, very understanding to the announcement by government. Now, patrons from all over the world have grown used to the highly anticipated festivities, which offer a variety of offerings. For example, the uppercut features would usually include a 5-course dinner featuring surf and turf, unlimited drinks and top-shelf cocktails, premium beers, as well as VIP dining area with private restrooms, plenty of party favors and noisemakers, VIP all-access pass to the event. The cost for VIP services usually range around $600 per person. Now, last year, the theme was Arabian Nights, and party guests were treated to whimsical decor, complete with a flying carpet, photo booth, belly dancers, genies, and other themed performers. And the party goers usually participate and dress in the costume to reflect their theme. Now, as always, the very popular outdoor event usually features high-profile international and regional artists. Last year, the Third World was the headliner, and they also continuously try to feature Jovan local bands. Now, one of the concerns that have been coming out of this recent announcement is essentially what will Christmas with COVID look like, as well as what will All Year's Eve look like for residents, particularly as the borders are reopening. Persons have been wondering what exactly will the festivities look like since many of the larger planned activities will more than likely, because of health and safety protocols, not be able to help. So we continue to look and wait for announcements as it pertains to how our tourists will actually be able to be gainfully entertained while they are here.
Absolutely, and Ron, those are definitely things we want to keep the public updated on. Yes. But for now, unfortunately, viewers, we are out of time. However, you can join us via 284 Media for more stories. We're also on Facebook at 284 Media and all the other forums, so join us. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. A happy Monday to each and every one of you. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.